why would you make your life easy, right? So we're gonna start with, what are we gonna start with? We're gonna start by cloning the serverless handbook repository and going from there. Let's go serverless handbook, that's this one. Clone into, can I clone my own repository? Can I fork my own repository? I can click fork and it won't let me fork it to a new one. That's kind of annoying. So what I'm gonna do instead is try to clone it. If I clone it in, can I clone it into a new? That's annoying. Oh, I know what I can do. I can create a new repository here and then go from there. So we're going to go on GitHub. Where do I click new? Hey Robin, how are you doing today? Honestly I don't know yet if I can do this either. So we're just gonna see, won't we? This is going to be called a course platform. Let's just call it serverlessHandbook.dev. Course platform for serverlessHandbook.dev, because that's where it's going to live. We are going to create it as a public repository, and then I'm going to copy the entire serverless handbook. Hey Mehdi, dude, Robin, the new office and the new house is actually really nice. I have a lot more room. You can hear there's probably a lot more echo because I still haven't quite figured out how to fix my what's it called, my my audio situation. Mehdi, I'm going to be using a combination of, actually I'm not going to be using Prisma, and I'm going to be mostly focusing on Gatsby stuff. Not really sure if I need any server-side things right now, so we're not even going to really have that. It's primarily going to be a Jamstack site built on GraphQL on Gatsby, with a little bit of what do you call it, Auth0 for authentication and things like that. So we'll see how it goes. Maybe I should. Do I actually need any backend stuff? I honestly don't think I need backend stuff for this one, because there's really not much I need to save on the backend. So yeah, I don't need backend stuff. It's going to be primarily front-end Jamstack kind of thing. So I'm gonna copy serverless handbook into serverlessreact.dev, like that. Serverless handbook is a directory, yes. So copy -r. Hey Melveta, how are you doing today? Haven't seen you on the stream before, at least I don't think I have. So that's copying. It might take a while because it also includes node modules, which is kind of silly. So what else do I need to do? I need to, basically right now I just need to wait for the copy operation to finish, and then we're going to kick off Gatsby, change the GitHub origin, and kind of go from there. I know what I can do. In the meantime, I can go into auth0.com and set up a new app, because this is going to be something where people need to be able to log in to access all of the content. So we're gonna have to have user accounts. I need to set up a new basically I need to set up a new auth0 account, app project, whatever it's called, and then we're gonna go from there. So I can log in and create the new I think they're calling it a, what do they call it? Let's see. I wish my computer was a little faster than it is, but such is life. So, right, the computer is kind of doing a lot of things right now. So we're going to create a new application. No, we don't create a new application. We first create a new tenant. So we create a tenant called serverless react dev course. Let's call it serverless react course. We create it in the US. Got that. That gives us applications, right? Serverless react course should now have an application created. Hey Bjorhan, I have no idea how to pronounce that name. Where are you from? Integrate Auth0 applications. Let's go. Thank you for purchasing the free Auth0 plan. You have 21 days left in my trial experiment. That is okay. So I'm going to go with the default app, which is generic, because that is fine. So we're going to call this the serverless. No, I can't. Oh, I can. Serverless React course. We have the client ID, client secret, which I'm not going to release. So this is going to be access to serverlessReact.dev for students. I don't need access for myself because I am, I'm not a student, and I can upload things via GitHub, which is exactly what I want. So we got that. Select an application type. It's a single page app, which means it's going to need allowed callback URLs. So we're going to say HTTPS, come on, localhost 8000 /auth0 callback. So I'm typing and it's showing up eventually. And then we're also going to have serverlessReact.dev as a domain. Wow, that is so slow. Application login URL. In some scenarios, Auth0 will need to redirect your application's login page. This URL needs to point to a route in your application that should redirect to your tenant's authorize. I don't think I need that, but we do need localhost. Oh, this is not HTTPS. So we need localhost 8000 as an origin. Then we need HTTPS. Come on, serverlessReact.dev as an origin, and allowed logout URLs, a set of URLs that are valid to redirect to after logout from Auth0. I don't think I need that. I do need origins for course. JWT expiration of 1 hour seems fine. Save changes, cool. Oh, Bulgaria, that's a really nice place. I've never been to Bulgaria before. What's it like this time of year? So serverlessReact.dev. Got that. I'm going to run Gatsby clean. Come on, Gatsby clean, so that everything gets cleaned up. Unknown argument clean. Okay, let's open the project in my VS Code, and we're gonna go from there. So we have components, random coding, serverlessReact.dev. Got that. Come on, serverlessReact.dev, open up. I don't know why it has Firebase RC. I don't need that one. Let's look at package.json and see what kind of. Let's run yarn clean. Come on, yarn clean. So my keyboard is still kind of messing up sometimes. It's kind of I've been waiting for a new one for a couple of months now. So you might see me bang on the keyboard very, very loudly and annoyingly sometimes. We've got all of the analytics stuff set up already. We're gonna rename this to call serverlessReact.dev, index.js, Gatsby develop, icon card. Interesting. I have not seen that before, but that seems cool. So we're going to, the next step is going to be replacing the origin. Git origin remove, git remote or remove or help. Let's do git remote help because I forget how to remove one. Git remote remove. Git remote remove origin. Git remote add origin, and we are going to add my new origin for the new repository, this one, bam, and then I can go into the readme and I can say that this is now serverless React course, and I'm going to say blah here, and this one is not going to be open source, so I'm not actually sure. Well, we're gonna figure that out. Let's try running yarn start and seeing if things boot up. Yarn start. So this is now going to look exactly like the serverless handbook does, except then we're gonna start changing it to turn it into a course platform. Let's see. Go to plugins. Bam, bam, bam. Okay, so that's all starting up. Hey, today. Are you in Slovenia right now or are you somewhere else? This is starting. Now, what do I need? What does a course platform need? I'm gonna need to add a... Do I have useoff already? I don't have useoff. Okay, so that it's still creating pages statefully, which is taking a while because my computer is pretty busy right now. In the meantime, I can go into source. Oh, let's see, ls plugins. No, ls plugins. We have Gatsby remark convertkit form, Giphy. That's cool. That's all cool. Voilà. That is all great. ls source. We then have pages, and pages are going to be the stuff that we're going to be changing. Hey Trollette, it does sound like fun, doesn't it? The reason I think I can pull it off in 2 hours or less is because I pretty much have almost all the moving pieces already figured out for my serverless handbook page, or for my serverless handbook. So turning it into a course platform is mostly an exercise in adding a login page and changing it so that the home page is more of a whatever, I don't know what to call it, more of a landing page with a long text and so on. So right now we're waiting for pages to be created statefully. I'm not sure why that's taking so long, but in the meantime we can go yarn add react useoff. That's going to install my useauth hook, which is what I'm going to be using for authentication. And then the other step is going to be figuring out how to make sure that you are given a username and a password when you purchase the course. I think that part might be a little tricky, but it's going to be figure outable. But then of course that means I am actually going to need something in the backend. Mehdi, you were right. We are actually going to need a backend for this, because the backend is going to need to keep track of which users do and don't have authorization to actually view the page. So just because you can log in doesn't mean that you've actually purchased the course, which is going to be interesting. So how are we gonna solve that problem? That's gonna be an interesting problem to solve, because just because you can log in doesn't mean that you should have access to the course. Okay, that's gonna be fun. But first, okay, creating pages statefully, why is that taking so long? I have no idea why that's taking so long. What is my computer up to? Why is Docker running? Docker, go away. Okay, OBS is using up all of my processing power. That's probably a big part of why everything is slow. I can also look at what else am I using. Okay, so that finished running. We now have useauth installed. So I can go into, what can I go into? Let's go here and say git status, git readme. Can also go into Gatsby config and change this to have remark slug, Gatsby source file system. It goes from images, sharp, remark images, plugins. So we're embedding YouTube, Code Sandbox, CodePen, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. That all. Why do we don't need Twitch. I can remove Twitch because we're definitely not going to be embedding any Twitch plugins. There we go. So we have serverless React course, and this is going to be, a description is a course that teaches you how to build an app from scratch. How to build a modern app from scratch. A modern app from scratch. that shows you, that teaches you. Let's stay with teaches you. I don't have a swipe file for my copy yet. So while I'm still waiting for creating pages statefully, I have no idea why that's taking so long. Let's just start it again. So I'm running yarn start again. We have Google plugin for Google Analytics, plugin for the Facebook pixel. Which Facebook pixel is this? I have no idea. So let's go into Google Analytics, and while we're waiting for the pages to be statefully created, we can set up a new Google Analytics thing. And I know some people don't like Google Analytics and think that they're evil and whatnot, but honestly, it is extremely useful to have some sense of how everything's working. So I personally like having Google Analytics just because they are the standard for how these things work. I do also use Simple Analytics, which is more friendly in terms of tracking people, but I cannot bring myself to quite fully make the switch yet. How do I create a new... I don't even know how to create a new thing on Platform Home. What is this? Tag Manager, Optimize, Data Studio, Surveys, Visit Platform Home, Admin. Let's go to Admin. That seems like it could be what I want. We have an account. I'm going to create a property. I don't know if I'm creating this property under... Let's go back. Okay, so this managed to run, I think. Property account. Okay, yeah, so we do create a new property here. So create property, which is called... My webcam is frozen. Why is my webcam frozen? Thank you for letting me know, Robin. Let's see what I can do about that. Okay, so my camera is no longer frozen. By the way, how do you like the embedded chat on the stream? That's a new thing I'm trying, and I have no idea if it's good or bad. I think it's cool that it's there, but I'm not sure if it's distracting. Okay, so this is still generating image thumbnails, which means I'm gonna go and create a web property on the thing. So we say serverlessReact.dev, serverlessReact.dev, bird go away, industry category. What is the category for this? Internet, online communities, people in society, science, shopping, other. I have no idea what to call this. Books and literature. Let's call it books and literature. Makes sense. Create. Okay, so that is creating. Property setup. Yeah, I already clicked create, didn't I? There we go. Now I'm gonna get a new tracking code to use in my analytics config. Everything is starting to be real slow as shit. So we've got this thing now. Bam. Okay. Updated that. Next one is going to be the Facebook pixel, but we can do that later. More importantly, I'm gonna have to use this tag on Gumroad eventually. So I'm gonna keep this open and go back here. Now we're still waiting for the React dev for Gatsby to finish generating image thumbnails and boot up, so I can start looking at it. In the meantime, we can figure out how we can connect this stuff. So we have hooks. Hooks allow you to hooks. Client credentials change, post change password, post user registration. Allows custom actions to be executed after a new user has been created in the database. Pre-user registration. Rules. That seems cool. Users and roles. Users. Create a user, no, we don't need that. Connections, database, oh, that seems cool. Securely store and manage username, password, credentials, either in Auth0 database or in your own store. We don't need that. Passwordless, that's all fine. SSO integrations, no, we don't need that. Basically what I'm doing right now is trying to figure out how I'm going to integrate the payment system with the authorization system so that I can tell who should be allowed to access my course and who shouldn't. I guess this is where the stuff gets hard, right? Okay, so is this done? Are you done? Cool. So this is almost done now. Let's see. Generating image thumbnails. Will you run locally? And in the meantime, I can run a push. Git commit -m basic clone from serverlesshandbook.dev, and we say git push. Oh wait, how do I make this a private repository? Settings. This is going to be my first private repository on GitHub. But the reason it's private is just because I don't want this one to be open because I'm charging for access, right? Allow merge commits, issues, restricting editing, wikis, collaborators, confirm. Webhooks, notifications, integrations, secrets, actions. How do you make a private project on GitHub? Does it? Oh, here we go. Make private. Please type Swissets serverless. You will permanently lose all stars and watchers of this repository. All pages published. You can upgrade your plan to also avoid losing access to code owners functionality, any existing wikis, pulse contributors, community, traffic commits, code, frequency, and network on the insights page, unlimited collaborator, branch protection rules. Okay, this is fine for now. ServerlessReact.dev. I understand. Make this repository private. Cool. Okay, so this is now a private repository, my very first on GitHub. So we can do git push origin -u to this one. Git remote add origin la. Come on, keyboard. Git remote -v. Serverless React Dev git. Okay. So what do we do? Git push origin master -u la. Why not -u? Okay, what if I just do source ref spec git at github.com does not match any. Failed to push some refs. What? Does anyone know what that is about? Am I still frozen? Okay, I'm not frozen. That's good. Okay, so git remote add origin. We already did that. Ah, that's what I need to do. Wow. Git push -u origin master. I am an idiot. It shows you how often I create new repositories, right? Or how often I clone repositories into new repositories. So we've got this running now. I should be able to go to localhost 8000 and get the, it's going to look like the serverless handbook page, but it's actually the serverless React page. Cool, so we've got that. And now we need to, instead of having a GitHub link here, I'm gonna keep the ability to change themes because I think that's kind of cool. And I'm gonna worry about the landing page later. So I'm gonna go into index.mdx on source pages. And I'm gonna add here that this is not let's see, where does it say serverless React? So I'm gonna copy all of this. Let's see, if I comment all of this out, it's going to vanish here, right? No? Yep, okay, that vanished. Cool, so I'm gonna, actually I can keep this for now. And it's just where it says serverless handbook. Come on, handbook. Okay, what? Oh, home title, that's how I have that done. Okay, so let's open home title. Home title JS, Babel JavaScript. No, this needs to be React JavaScript mode. And here it needs to say serverless React.dev. Let's see, will that change? Come on, serverless React.dev. And we're going to full stack apps for front-end engineers, right? That's a good start. Or we can take that away. And this is essentially, okay, let's just keep this, and this is going to become a proper landing page similar to how I have React for database.com done. Right now we're going to focus on changing this into a course platform. So not focusing on the copy, focusing instead on the platform as such and all of the technology behind it. Okay, so now let's see, what is this top component called? Because I have forgotten, even though I originally built this. So we go into components and look for this one, and that is called the context consumer. Wonderful, very useful name. Where is it? Router, route handler, context JSON store, provider, page renderer. Okay, let's search for it. Git grep serverless handbook. Okay, let's see. Let me check something. Okay. So footer head.js. That seems like what I want. Head.js. Head.js component. This is going to be serverless React.dev. Serverless React.dev. Serverless React.dev. That, let's see if that, where will that go? It's gonna be, I think that's gonna be in the title. Yep, serverless React.dev. Okay. We can keep that, right? As just like it is. Image is going to be the cart PNG, which is we're gonna change later. Description, summary, large image, all of this is fine. Now what else do I need? I need to figure out the header.js. Header.js. Let's see, header.js. And am I actually live on YouTube? Because I am not sure if I'm live. Or rather, I can go check on Restream, right? That should be where I can check. Good, cool. I am live, and it claims that people are watching, so that's all I need. Just wanted to make sure that things are working. So here it's going to, that's the burger, that's the dot. I don't know what the dot is. Oh, that's this thing. Okay. So then over here somewhere it's going to say serverless handbook. Change color mode, auto serverless handbook. This needs to say serverlessReact.dev, right? serverlessReact.dev. Come on, change. Why is it so slow? Jesus Christ. And now we're going to change this into login. Sweet. Okay, I'm still streaming. This is going to become the login link. And now this is where we start to incorporate useoff. So we're going to add useoff to be able to run the auth0 login flow. I'm gonna go into GitHub useoff because I always forget how to do it, even though I built the library. So we're gonna need to open Gatsby SSR and Gatsby, so we have wrap page element from source, which seems like a great idea. Cool. Ow. So use auth, potential security vulnerable, and let's see, install the hook. We already did that, didn't we? Package JSON, React use auth. Cool, got that. So we do React use auth. Now we set up the auth provider, which is here. We're going to import auth provider from React use auth like that, and we're going to import what else? Now let's move that up here, and I'm gonna import navigate from Gatsby. That way we can make it redirect automatically between being logged out and logged in. So we say auth provider navigate, come on, navigate, navigate equals navigate, and auth0 domain is the domain we just set up earlier. So we go to applications, serverless React course, and we have this thing. Come on, where are you? Application, serverless React auth. That's the domain. And then what else do we need? We need to set up the auth0 client ID, which is this one. So we say auth0 client ID equals blah, and then we wrap everything in the auth provider. So now we should be able to use the login button here in the header. This will now have, let's change this into the login button. It's gonna be called login, and I'm going to just create it here. So we're going to say const login equals a function that does stuff. So we're going to say const is authenticated, and login equals useoff, which we are going to import from. So import useoff from React useoff like that, and the login button, which is acting funny, is going to return stuff. Okay, so it's the login button, and now let's see if the user is authenticated. If is authenticated, then we return. What do we return? Well, how does serverless? It just says box, link variant, serverless React dev. Let's just add some text. Let's see, what should we call it? Let's call it a box, and the box is going to say, let's say hello user dot nickname, I think is what it's called, and we need to get the user from useoff as well. So that's if you are authenticated. Otherwise we render a link like this, and the link, this should also be amar equals 2. Ref is going to be empty, and on click, come on click, we're going to run the login process. So that's the login thingy. Now the next step we need is the we need, that's the default auth. Now we need the auth0 callback page. So the auth0 callback page, we'll need to go into source 0 pages and less source components layout. Okay, so let's just create exactly this. Touch source pages auth0 callback.js. It doesn't need to be MDX. Callback.js. Paste it in. Change this to JavaScript React. So we've got that part. And that should be it. So I'm gonna try restarting Gatsby now and see if we get the login stuff. Or I should now be able to log into the serverlessReact.dev. Okay. And then the next step is going to be figuring out how to authorize. The next step is going to be figuring out how to authorize users, and the other part is figuring out how to do upsells, authorization, upsells, and the entire payment flow. Other than that, what else do we need? Other than that, we're gonna have to figure out how to actually lock the pages so that if you try to go to a page you don't have permission to go to because you either haven't bought the course or because you're not logged in, so that it doesn't let you go there, which is gonna be fun. So I'm going to look up how to add authentication to the, what's it called? Authentication to the Gatsby router. Gatsby router authentication. Come on. Authentication. Cool. Making a site with user authentication, building a site with authentication. Simple auth, how to secure Gatsby JS sites. Restrict routes programmatically in Gatsby. Jesus Christ. Creating client-only routes, authentication service, building your Gatsby app, controlling private routes. Okay, client-only routes, but I don't want them to be client-only routes. In production, you should use a tested and robust solution, building your Gatsby app. You're not logged in. The layout component will wrap all pages and display the navigation bar. Lastly, change the index page to use the layout component, authentication service, blah, creating client-only routes. At the beginning of this tutorial, you created a Hello World Gatsby site, which includes the rich router. Gatsby node in root directory. On create page, we create... that already does this work for you. Gatsby plugin create client paths. But hey, Alesh, how's Slovenia these days? I heard it's not very cold and there's no snow, which is kind of weird. Wow. Oh, sorry, I ate too much brunch today. So I'm trying to figure out, we don't really want these routes to only exist on the client, right? We do want them to be statically generated so that people can use them, and that will create a security problem where if you... So the thing is that the reason I don't want them to be client only is because I want the site to load fast even when it's offline. The other part is that I want to I want them to load fast, which means they need to be statically generated. Oh, come on. Start components regarding those new routes, the profile component, blah. Handle update. Login process, controlling private routes. You can edit your router to use the private route component. Okay, so private route. What is the private route? That seems useful. To use new routes and user data. And the profile will show the user data. Okay, so why is this taking so long? Why is create pages statefully so slow? So basically what I'm trying to decide is whether... Actually, you know what? We can just go in the layout component and check things here. And that way it's automatically going to be... Yes. Haha, this is cool. Okay, so here, this is where we're going to check whether you're logged in and prevent access if you are on a page that is... Let's see. So private route. How does private route work? Controlling private routes, private route, component location, private route. Because the thing is that I want the routes to be created at compile time from my MDX files, and I don't know in advance what they're going to be. So I need to figure out how to stop access, which I can do here. So when you go to a particular page, we're gonna allow logged out access to... Okay, yeah, that's how it's gonna work. So we're going to import, where are we? Import useoff. So import useoff from React useoff. I've got that. Use layout effect. That's something that I don't need right now. The paywall. And here we're going to say const is authenticated, and the user from equals the useauth, and then in here we're going to be able to check whether you're currently authenticated. What is skip link? Skip to content. I don't know what that is. Why is it in there then? So if you are on the page, full width sidebar, head props, main content, full width. Okay, so here, this is where we're going to check whether you're authenticated. So we're going to say if is authenticated, then we show you the content, which is going to do stuff. Otherwise, we show you the logged out page. Please log in. Come on, please log in, like that. So then we take this and we create a const content. Come on, const content equals. What does it do? So this is going to render all of this stuff. And prepare. So it needs to get props. So we have props, and we're going to do props.fullWidth, props.nav, props.menu, and props.setMenu. Props.setMenu, and then I can, here where we are rendering the content, I can pass in essentially props like we did before. Then we can pass in full width as full width, which is what we also had before, And we're also gonna pass in nav as nav. Oh, actually I can just copy this stuff here. So we have all of the props and all of this stuff that goes in the header. I have a feeling that create pages statefully is dead and not really doing stuff. Let's see, is Node even using any processing power? Node is running at 0 CPUs, which is great. Okay, I'm gonna stop that and let's finish the locking. So we have the, and then please log in, content sidebar, otherwise we get that stuff. And then we have const please log in, which is going to also get some props, and it's going to return the head with all of its props, just because having the head is useful. Like that. And then down here it's going to say let's make it a paragraph for now and say, oh, let's see, what can we call, oh, it's called main. So we're gonna say main id equals content, and we say please log in to access this page. For now this is all it's going to say, and we could probably, no, let's just do that for now. So now we have this part. We don't need the user. We can actually get the login button from here. So yeah, let's do that. So we're going to have the please login page. We return all of the stuff that says please log in, and we say const login equals useoff, and we turn this into a link. So we say should we make it into a button? That's the button. Button login, and we say where do we have it? Do we have any buttons anywhere? Import button from Rebus. Where are you? Rebus box flex button, and we import the button from there. We say please log in. Come on, where are you? Please, come on, please log in to access this page. And when we click this on click, calls the login method. And now to be able to test this, we are gonna have to exercise some patience and try to see if Gatsby compile, if Gatsby build manages to finish. Okay, so we're waiting. Okay, that's that. How's this doing? Cool. Okay, people are still around. That's cool. So yeah, while we're waiting for this to finish compiling, does anyone have anything fun to share about what they've done the past week or 2 weeks, or however long it's been since we saw each other? Any fun vacation over the holidays, or exciting gifts you received or given? Syrup King, it has not actually been 2 hours, it's been 52 minutes. Okay, so source and transform nodes. Let's see. Come on, I wish my computer was faster. I wonder how hard it would be to clean out any dust and stuff. You know, I do think we are gonna make it in time. We've got the authentication part done, which is one of the hard parts. The other one is just the authorization and figuring out how to tie. So I already know how to add Gumroad buttons to this because I already have that. The only other part is connecting Gumroad and Auth0. Let's see if there is a way to do that. Auth0 Gumroad connect. Maybe Zapier add login using the authorization code flow, linking user accounts, Auth0 extension, custom social connection, way to connect things. So Zapier login. And yeah, I am totally not above using something like Zapier to make my things work. It's kind of cobbled together, but hey, if it works, you know. I just can't tell why Gatsby is running so slowly on my machine right now. Well, actually, I know exactly why. It's because I'm streaming and because I apparently need a new computer. Yes, you've updated your privacy policy. Wonderful. Search for an app. So we're gonna need Gumroad. Yes. And let's see, what can we connect it with? Auth0? Meh. I know we can connect it with ConvertKit, that's all fine, but what else do we need? We need to somehow tell Auth0 that somebody bought a thing on Gumroad. Right, okay. Peter says that Gumroad has webhooks. So we can look at that. Settings. Oh, 614, cool. Let's see. Settings, payouts, applications. So I have Drip, which I'm not even using anymore. Zapier, ConvertKit, Segmetrics. No, I don't want to change my password right now, and I don't want to accidentally show you my password. Advanced. For external services, your seller ID is blah. Gumroad.com API. Thank you, Peter. That is a great link for me to click on right now. Because at that point, depending on how hard this is, it might actually start making sense to might make sense to just use Stripe, since I can actually use Stripe. Let's see, Gumroad API. OAuth API is based around REST. We return JSON for every to start using the Gumroad API. Register your OAuth application, node verify blah. Generate access tokens, scopes, resources, OmniAuth, more reading, blah. I don't want to do all of that. Products, variant codes, custom fields, webhooks. Yeah, I know I can hook it up with Zapier, but how do I hook Zapier up with, let's see, how can I create a Zap? We can, let's see, teachable drip. Oh, what? Why is that not connected? That's annoying. So Gumroad, filter zaps, private folders, trash. Let's do make a zap. And let's see. Yes, okay. We start with Gumroad, choose a trigger event. It's when there's a new sale from my Gumroad. We need a product. Right. So I don't have. There we go. Gumroad.com ping. Awesome. It notifies you whenever one of your products is purchased. Thank you, Peter J. Gumroad ping is a simple alert that notifies you in real time whenever one of your products is purchased. The ping comes blah. Thank the purchaser, publicly generate QR codes, create an account for them on your own platform. That's what we are looking for. Create an account for them on your own platform. In each request, Gumroad sends these params. seller ID, email, URL params, full name, purchaser ID, subscription ID, all of that stuff. So now what I need to know is how to tell Auth0 that somebody needs to have access or authorization. So we need Auth0 webhooks. Hooks, beta. Hooks allow you to customize the behavior of Auth0 with Node.js code that is executed and selects extension points. Okay, no. Auth0 programmatically create account. Auth0 management API v2 create user and set name via API. Cool. Source and transfer. Okay, I have no idea what Gatsby is doing here, so I'm gonna kill this and run yarn clean. Yarn clean. Cool. And let's log into Auth0 docs. What else do we need? Git status. We say git at source, git commit -m, add login flow. And we call yarn start again. And hopefully this time yarn start is gonna actually work and run the application. So we have the API. Now, not for Jamstack. We need to switch tenant to Markdown landing page, serverless React course, serverless React course. I think my cold is still acting up on me. So we need to publicly accessible Auth0 authentication API. Come on, zoom in. Zoom in. I said zoom in. It's not zooming in. Oh, there we go. It finally reacted. Wow. Okay. So that's the problem. So let's see. Not client grants, logs, prompts, rules, roles, user blocks, users. There we go. Come on, click users. Users. Yay, users. Okay, my computer is being kind of custom claims on the token for each user. I honestly am not sure what that means, Peter. Wow. Okay, starting Webpack server. Cool, that's promising. Do you guys see this? It's like my computer has decided to stop even rendering websites. Sample use cases. All right. Thank you, Peter. Oh, cool. In these examples, yeah, it totally might be an overkill, but let's see. In these examples, we use the authorization code flow to authenticate a user and request the necessary permissions, scopes, and tokens. For details on the request parameters or to learn how to fully implement this flow, refer to the tutorial. A user and request standard claims. In this example, we want to personalize our UI, initiate the authentication flow by sending the user to the authorization URL, the response type. Wow. Oh God. If you guys could smell what I'm smelling right now, you would be laughing too. It's the only way to cope. Let's see. Yeah, this does sound a little overkill. We want to authenticate a user and get user details that will allow us to personalize our UI. Yeah. That does seem like a lot. In this example, we request a custom scope for a calendar API that will authorize the calling application to read appointments for the user. That seems cool, but honestly, right now, I need to just create a user account. Custom claims to a token. Let's see. How did I get here? No, I'm not looking for client grants. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out right now, Peter, is just how to get the Gumroad ping and create a user. Butta is defined but never used. Why is butta defined? God damn it. Button. Let's start this again. Okay, yarn start. So basically what I want to do is Gumroad to ping my server. I want to create an account on auth0 so that people can then go and log in to the page. Basically, I want you to be able to purchase without having an account, and that the purchase process automatically creating an account for you. Let's see, create a user. That's what I need. So I need to create a new user for a given database or passwordless connection. Note connection is required, but other parameters such as email and password are dependent upon the type of connection. So try. Cool. So we're gonna get, yes. So we're gonna get an email. Yes, a user in my own system. So basically, Gumroad is gonna send me a ping with the order number, seller ID, product ID, email, the email of the buyer, URL, some params, full name, and then I'm going to use this ping. The ping comes in the form of a request to the URL that you specify in your account settings. You can also use our API and subscribe to be notified of future sales. If you are using the overlay embed on your website, then the same JSON along with the post message name, key and sale value is also sent to the parent iframe. We highly recommend that you use an HTTPS endpoint as your URL. So we're gonna basically create a simple lambda, a simple AWS lambda that gets a ping from Gumroad and then uses that Gumroad ping to talk to auth0 and create a user. Yes. That's gonna make sense. Okay. Cool. So this finally loaded. We should now be able to go to load the homepage and run the login process. So this is not something. Please log in to access this page. Right. So that was, we don't want that to happen on the homepage. So we go into where did we do this? In layout. Layout. If is authenticated or props location or homepage. On homepage, then we show the content. So we're gonna say const on homepage equals the same thing, because these are technically a little bit different. So we should now get the content. There we go. The content for the homepage needs to always show up. I can now click login and it gives me the auth0 login page. Serverless React course. I can sign up. I'm gonna use my auth0 password and stuff. That signs me up. I'm authorizing the Serverless React course. I'm going in. Wonderful. And it's redirecting me and it's not working because cannot read property path name of undefined. Okay, that's gonna be annoying. Lol. Thank you, Militant Penguin. That is much appreciated. So what is wrong now? Now the problem is that this block is blocking the authentication flow because we're not rendering the auth callback page. Props. If is authenticated, there we go. We're gonna do it this way. If either if we're not authenticated, no, if allow unauth or is authenticated. So we're going to here say allow unauth props location path name. So let's see. We say slash and slash auth 0 callback. If those include, come on, callback dot includes, yes, cool. So these are the list. This is the list of unauthenticated pages. Const unauth pages equals blah. So if unauth pages dot includes props dot location dot path name. Wow. Location dot path name. So we're gonna say we have that, or if window is defined, or type of includes current location. Let's do it that way. Current location, and we pass in the props. Then we're gonna have function function current location, and this is going to have from props. Yeah, location. Come on, location. So we're going to say if location is defined, then we return location dot path name. Else if type of window, come on, window equals it does not equal undefined. So if the window is not undefined, then we return window, come on, window dot location dot path name. Yep, window dot location dot path name. Right, actually we're gonna do it the exact opposite way. So else if, because the window location feels more reliable than whatever we get through props, otherwise we return null. Come on, null. Current location. Alright, so we should now have a much better, we should now be able to run the authentication or the login flow. So I'm gonna go to localhost 8000. Come on, localhost 8000, serverless react.dev. Wonderful. It says things aren't working, and it now says hello Swizzets. Yes, cool. So if I go into my application and I delete useoff user, and I delete useoff expires at, and I reload the page, I am now unauthenticated. Yep. And I become authenticated because auth0 knows that I'm logged in. Cool. Which means I should also be able to go to a specific page. Let's do localhost 8000 / serverless elements, and this is because I still have all of the content from the old from the serverless handbook here. I should be able to get the content. Wonderful. But if I try to go here if I try to go to an incognito page, come on, Command Shift N, incognito, and I open the same URL, instead of showing me the page, it shows me this ugly please log in to access this page, which doesn't look great, but it's an okay start. So we can deal with the We can deal with the styling and the copy later. Right now I'm just focusing on getting the flows working. So we now have a bunch of, we now basically have locked content that you have to use, you have to log in with Auth0 to have access. Now the next step is making sure that that you have authorization, not just authentication. Cool. So what did we build this whole time? Git status, git commit -a-m, layout locks pages requiring authentication, come on, authentication. Cool. Now how do we do authorization? So we have get a user's roles, update a user, remove roles from a user, assign roles to a user, remove permissions from a user, or assign permissions to a user. That all seems very useful. Assign permissions to a user. So I think we can do this with permissions. Instead of roles and such, we can give them permissions to either view the course or not view the course based on whether they've purchased or not. And like Peter helped us discover, we can use the Gumroad ping API to ping the thing. Yes. Wow. This is interesting. So now let's see, how do we tell Gumroad what to ping? Gumroad ping, where do I set it up? Settings. In my account settings, I can configure where it's pinging me. So let's go here and create a what should we create here? We need a server directory that is going to be for, actually I'm gonna try something. Let's make a lambdas directory. God damn it. Wow. I'll be right back. I need to get some water, and then we're going to create lambdas and go from there. Alright, so we're gonna create a lambdas directory and see if we can use that for serverless, and if that's a nicer approach than what I usually do, where I split into two projects. So make dir lambdas, and then we what else do we need for the lambdas? The problem is that yarn build and deploy are now going to be different, but that can be fine. It would be cool if we had TypeScript support on the backend, because I like having that. But actually we can have TypeScript support on the backend, I think. So I'm going to copy my tsconfig from elsewhere and go from there. And I'm also gonna copy my serverless YAML. So copy, go into Markdown landing page, the server part, and we copy serverless YAML to here, and we copy Markdown landing page.com server tsconfig JSON to dot, and I'm gonna look at cat / markdown landing page server package JSON, and we say we're gonna need yarn add at yarn add at types AWS lambda at types AWS SDK at no, we're gonna need AWS lambda, and we're gonna need AWS SDK just because that is all useful. Do we need anything else? I don't think so. Cool. So then here we're gonna have a build directory or build lambda, which is going to run tsc, and we're gonna have deploy lambda, which is going to npm run build lambda and then run serverless deploy, right? That should be fine. Okay, come on, npm, bam, and I can open the serverless YAML, and we're not gonna need any tables. We're also not gonna need any IAM role statements, but we are going to need a GraphQL handler. We're gonna call it, so we're gonna have a Gumroad ping function, Gumroad ping, which is going to be Gumroad ping dot handler, Gumroad ping handler. Let's do Gumroad ping like that, Gumroad ping dot handler on path grab Gumroad ping, and it's actually a post request, right? So it's a post request. So post request called Gumroad ping. Are we gonna need any resources? We do not need resources. So, and this will be serverless React.dev. I don't actually know if we can use dots, so let's just call it serverless React dev. Everything is installed. Now we need to open tsconfig for the compiler, common JSON out there. Base URL is /, it's actually / lambdas. Yeah. I'm worried that it won't know where the source is. So let's see if we can specify that. Source root, there we go. Source root, lambdas, / lambdas. So this is basically configuring TypeScript to work only within the lambdas directory. Then the next step is, what is the next step? Next step is looking at my REST API example on ServerlessHandbook.dev and stealing ideas from there. And you see, this is one of the reasons I write these books and these resources and put them online. And it's also now I have to change my camera battery. But yeah, that. Okay, let's see if I'm moving now. Okay, I'm moving. So yeah, good reason for writing and publishing things online is that when you need to refer to your notes, they are right there and very easy to access. So I'm gonna look up how to build a post handler because I always forget. Cool. So here's the source we're gonna need. We're gonna create a new file. Any specific reason you're going with AWS Lambda instead of Netlify functions? I just personally, well, first of all, Netlify functions are just a Netlify functions are just a wrapper on AWS Lambda anyway, and I find AWS Lambda directly to be it's pretty nice to use, and I like that it gives me more control over what I'm doing. And I'm actually deploying with Zeit, which also supports functions, but those are also just wrappers on AWS. So I figure if I know how, since this isn't that difficult to do, or at least what I'm doing right now isn't too complex, I can just do it with AWS Lambda directly, and I have a little bit more control. And the ergonomics of doing it this way aren't that much more difficult than doing it with Zeit or with Netlify. At least in my experience. It's possible that I'm just being weird. So handle a ping from Gumroad's API. Completely hard-coded handling for now. Completely hard-coded for now. Would have to refactor a lot if this platform becomes a SaaS. So we're going to export const we called it handler, didn't we? Serverless YAML Gumroad ping dot handler. Export const handler. Let's call it ping handler, just so that it's Gumroad ping handler. This is just so that it's easier to see in the code itself what we're doing. So export const ping handler, come on, handler equals an async method that gets an event from the API gateway event and returns a promise for the API as the API response. Come on, response like that, and is a method. So I'm gonna command save serverless react lambdas. Excuse me. Gumroad ping.ts. Save. Well, no. Okay, so I need to import. Did I not write those down? Of course I did not write those down because I am a dumbass. Let's see, manage items TS file. The cool thing is that I linked to everything so that I can copy paste stuff. So we copy paste that, and I'm gonna create a types file. So let's see, what does the types file say? Types DTS API response types.ts. Cool. So we are turning an API response, import API response from /types. Come on. Oh, now it's right. It's complaining that we're not returning anything, which is true. So I'm gonna also copy the response helper because that is useful. And now here we're going to now look at what we need to do to get the ping. So what does the ping give us? API gateway event. Gumroad sends these parameters. So is it a JSON? The ping comes in the form of an HTTP post request to the URL that you specify in your account settings. You can also use our API and subscribe to be notified on blah. The overlay embed. We highly recommend you use an HTTPS endpoint. You can pass unique URL parameters by adding them to any Gumroad product URL. If passed, they will show up in the URL params dictionary as seen below. Cool. Create an account for them on your own platform. That sounds great. In each request, Gumroad sends this stuff. So we're gonna say const ping equals. So this is going to be a Gumroad ping, and it's going to come from event.body, which we are going to json.parse. So we JSON parse the event body or empty. Now let's just say that we are assuming the event body is always defined. If it's not defined, then we have huge problems on our hands and everything is broken. We're gonna define a Gumroad ping event, Gumroad ping type, which is going to be export interface Gumroad ping, which is going to look like this. I'm just gonna copy this stuff from there, like that, from Gumroad ping, and then we have sale ID, which is a string. Let's remove all of this stuff. So we take all of those and replace them with nothing, and we say sale timestamp is a number, right? Actually no, it's probably a string, let's be honest. So string order number is a number, but no, not a null, it's a number. Seller ID is, I'm gonna assume it's a string. I'm just gonna, things that I don't know what they are, I'm gonna say they're all strings, which probably isn't the best approach, but it's a approach. String. URL params is an object, so is a key string to a string, like that. Then we have full name, which is also a string. The ID of the purchaser, if the purchaser has one, which is also a string, string. Subscription ID, which is a string. IP country, which is also a string. Price is a number. Chat is covering the editor, is it? Let's see, is the chat actually covering the editor? What the frick? You should not be covering the editor, Mr. Chat. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. So chat decided to do something weird. There we go. I don't know how it happened. Thank you for alerting me. That should be better now. Price is number, recurrence is a number. Wow, my computer is now so slow that I cannot type. Number, offer code is, no, variance is a string. String, you know what? I'm just gonna copy string so that I can, this is a boolean, I'm assuming. Custom fields are going to be a key string mapping to a string, like that. Shipping information, which is a key string mapping to a string. I don't know why I'm defining all of these. I don't actually need them. Boolean is pre-order boolean, license key, string, come on, string. And we have quantity, which is, I'm assuming a number. That makes sense as a number, right? Shipping rate is a number. Affiliate is a string. Affiliate credit amount sent is a number. Is gift receiver purchase boolean. Gifter email is a string. Gift price is definitely a number, and whether it's refunded is a boolean. Cool. Okay, so we now have the Gumroad ping type defined, and the only reason we need this is to make code completion in the editor easier. Oh god, my throat. So we go back to Gumroad ping TS, and now we get the ping, and we can, let's return a response called 200 with a body of just empty just an empty body, and I'm going to console log the entire ping, and then we're gonna go test it. So I'm gonna run yarn lambda build just to make sure that this compiles with TypeScript. Yeah, command lambda build not found. What did we call it? Package JSON build lambda. Yarn build, come on, yarn build lambda. Okay, we're getting pretty close to the time limit. Good night, Melon. I'm happy you stayed this long. Enjoy. Have a good night. So I'm hoping that TSC compiles this, and then we're gonna go into Gumroad and try to test that this actually works. Return object from entries. Property from entries does not exist. Source DynamoDB TS. What? Why is it? Why is it trying to compile that? tsconfig source root base URL type roots ls dist. Oh, actually, you know what? rmrf examples, because I don't need those right now. Yarn build lambda. Let's see what it does. Base URL is /lambdas. Cool. So now if we ls dist, we got a bunch of stuff. Cat dist Gumroad ping.js. Gumroad ping.js, cool. What? Why did we also get? No, let's do just base URL like that. rmrf dist, and then run the build again, just to make sure that the build makes sense. Key dist tsc is running. Come on, TypeScript, compile. ls dist, cool. Okay, now I can do yarn deploy lambda, right? Go into package JSON, yes, deploy minus lambda, and let's see if that works. Cool, very nice. Oh God, my throat. The hell happened on my keyboard? Okay, so it's now deploying to serverless, and when it finishes deploying, I'm gonna get the URL that I can use on Gumroad to tell it what to ping when it finishes, you know, when a purchase goes through, and then I'm gonna be able to test the purchase and and check what happens. Yes, that makes sense. And once we have that, I can then figure out how to use the Auth0 API to create a user if they don't exist yet. Yes, that seems like it's gonna work pretty well. We might have to do another of these streams in the maybe next weekend or something. But because if we don't get this done in the next 23 minutes, which honestly seems kind of like a stretch right now, I'm still gonna need the platform to work, but I'm gonna have to go do some other work. Okay, let's see. Can you deploy faster, Mr. Computer? Introduction. Let's start with the introduction. Authentication. How do I get a management token? For information on getting a token for this API, see this article. Right, so I'm gonna need to do all of that stuff. That's gonna be a little bit annoying. Wow. And the problem right now is that my computer is being bloody slow. So I don't know why serverless is taking so long. So I guess while that's going on, we can, no, what can we do while we wait? I guess I'm gonna have to see if I can, where do I put the URL? We can figure out what we do with the URL once we get it. Settings. The importance of side projects. It's kind of a lot to really go into right now, but I'm glad you asked. What would you say is your biggest challenge in terms of motivation for side projects? I'm really curious about that because I plan to write a bunch of emails on that topic over the next week or 2 weeks. So I'm really curious, what would you say, what do you lack motivation for side projects? No, Gumroad Discover. Wow. So where do I advanced? Okay. Your domain. Okay, third-party analytics, update account details. Where do I put the ping? I'm trying to figure out where do I put, oh, ping endpoint, that's where it was. There we go, ping endpoint. Your seller ID is blah. Cool, so the time invested in money afterwards. Okay, so what you're saying is you're afraid that it's not worth the time spent on side projects? I don't need this anymore. Okay, so we're gonna get the ping endpoint and we're gonna paste it in here. Oh. Okay, come on. If my computer was faster, this would be a lot easier to all get done in 2 hours. Endpoint, let's see. Auth0 node API, node library. I'm gonna need that for the server stuff. Let's see, Gumroad ping TS, auth0 node, come on. Updating stack, checking stack update progress. Okay, it's almost deployed. Cool. Node auth0. Okay, there we go. That's what I'm gonna need. Cool, so management API client, that's what I'm gonna need. We're gonna yarn add auth0, come on, yarn add auth0, and then we're gonna need the management API client, so the token is gonna have to be saved in the AWS secrets. Okay, that's gonna be fun. Okay, but first we're gonna try that the Gumroad API ping is actually, the Gumroad ping API is actually working. Okay, no, an error occurred. Ping lambda function unzipped size must be smaller than what? What? Why did it push everything up? 174 megs. Where did it get that from? Right. So now this is the problem. We need how do I tell serverless to only look at one part of the thing, not to try to deploy everything? Okay, limit serverless framework to subdirectory. Let's see. Can I do that? Because right now what happened was that it packaged the entire website, the entire page together and tried to deploy it as a lambda, which just doesn't work well. Perm. Come on. Serverless. Aha, package exclude, package include. Okay, so we're gonna try that. Package include, and we're only going to include this /*. All node module, but then re-include the specific modules, in this case node fetching, using okay. So this is where it might make sense to yes, Dave, validating the idea before you start. It's always important to validate your idea before you really start working on things. Just because, let's see first if this works. Yarn deploy lambda. So it's important to validate your idea before you really invest too much work into it, because that makes it easier to know what's worth spending time on and what isn't. There's a lot of different approaches you can use to do that, and it's kind of hard to really iterate through all of them right now, but that is a great question. Now let's see if this actually deploys. Oh, God, yeah, we're definitely not finishing this in the next 14 minutes, but we got pretty close. At least I think we got pretty close. The problem right now is that I tried to be fancy and do something differently than what I usually do. So we're gonna see if this works. And if it doesn't work, I'm gonna do what I do, go with the usual approach and put server stuff in its own directory and make it behave like a separate project. Let's see. Excluding development dependencies. Come on. Come on, computer. How many bytes is this? Oh, that's probably also why it took so long to package. We just Yeah, I'm gonna have to split this up into two, into making it at least pretend that it's its own project, because otherwise, uh, yeah, god damn it. And I was so close. Okay, so I'm just gonna call it now. We did not go the full 2 hours, but we got really close. So we added authentication, we figured out how to do authorization, we started working on the Gumroad ping API, and yeah, the whole thing is pretty close to done. So we're going to continue with probably, I'm gonna say there's going to be another live coding session to wrap this up next week, Sunday, roughly the same time. And if that doesn't work, I'm gonna go with Podia or something like that, just so I can get the course out at the end of this month, which is when I want it to be ready for everyone. So thanks everyone for watching, and I will see you again next Sunday when we're going to figure out how to get this done. And it's really close to being a full course platform, but I really do have to go work on some other stuff now and work on the emails that Dave has been asking about and a bunch of other things. So thanks everyone for watching. I will see you again next